Yo, what's up, guys? It's another edition of the NukeStream. Let me know if you guys can hear me well. Mike's doing good so far. Um, you guys know where to find me. Linktree will be put in the chat now. Um, and yeah, guys, follow me on all platforms. Patreon's $5 a month. I post an article periodically if you guys want to support there. I have a chat there. I also have a Discord. If you guys want to get on there. I have a Helldivers chat if you guys play Helldivers. And then I have an open chat for guys to talk, just to talk about everything. And then as I see fit, I'll add more channels on the Discord or anything like that. For the guys that have been DMing me and stuff, I've been having a very busy week. I'm working nights, so I have a lot on my plate this week. So I will get to you. Just give me a second and all that. And this week coming in, it will be a lighter week for me, so I'll be able to dedicate more time to my online commitments and all that stuff. So also, guys, I am moving the shows to 9 p.m. As you know, I started a little late today due to things going on, but I'm starting to move the shows later, and I am considering only doing one show a week, Sundays, 9 p.m. and all that. Feels like that's a good time where everyone's just winding down from the weekend and getting ready for the next day and all that stuff. People are on their computers and posting and and all that. So yeah, guys, that's what's in the works. I still owe you guys my male fashion guide, and I still am working on my book, which I want to be finished by Christmas, but a lot of things going on, so I have to sort of consolidate streams and make time for everything in my life. So yeah. So today's topic, guys, is female indignation, and I do a good representation example of this, right? When I go online and I make fun of women, right? But there is an art to this, and there is a reason behind this, and this is another one of those game red pill lessons that are very important when talking to women, right? And also a lot of self-awareness, knowing where you're at, how to talk to women a certain way depending on the environment of their situation, right? It's all about social calibration. But I'll tell you guys my method for making fun of women and people, sometimes guys too. And we'll talk, guys. And as always, please send a super chat, support the channel if you would like. If you guys also would like a consult to talk about stuff, DM me on Twitter, on Instagram, and we can set something up. And if you guys just want to talk about your dating life, just have a chat, or you guys have a specific problem, or you just want someone to talk to about stuff, just hit me up and all that, and we'll set something up. So, okay, so I've been getting a little bit of notoriety, and I've even been asked on shows that I've been on, some of these smaller shows that invite me out to talk to them. Why is it that I make fun of women online? And besides it being very hilarious and fun, but there's a reason. There's a reason why it works, and there is a reason why I do it, and there's a reason why I'm like, hey guys, pay attention to this. Several things go into this, into understanding women, understanding current women, modern women, and all that stuff. And it gives you a glimpse into what they have to deal with and why they're so attracted to negativity from men and all that. So we'll get into that. We got Mad Mog in the chat. How you doing, sir? We got is that your brand? Yamine? Let's get the spread. We got Filipino in the chat. Soji, what's up, my friend? We got Stephen Bradley Jones and all that. So yeah. Yeah, guys. So for the most part, roasting women online is an art, right? It's something that you have to uh, kind of take a little thought and all that stuff. I know how to make fun of people in a way that it hurts because growing up I used to watch a lot of comedy. Anything from Chappelle's show to comedy specials to crowd work. Comedians doing crowd work and all that stuff. And a lot of it all boils down to this, guys. It's creativity, right? What makes women kind of respond to me or get mad or kind of like reply 3 times or continue to come into my mentions that have nothing to do with them, or go on their own timeline and just explain how evil I am even though I'm not going to see it, right? It's because it's creative and it's not something that they thought anyone would notice, right? Because women are very, very insecure. So that's the first lesson, guys. Women are incredibly insecure about how they look, no matter how pretty a woman is, right? You may think that these women that get hundreds of likes and um they get just basically paid or free dates or free stuff from men their whole life. You'd think that they'd be secure in their looks, but they're not, right? And that's the thing. We don't see, as men, we see like, man, you're like getting flown out to places. People pay you to see you naked, right? Like that's insane. Like people are paying you to see you naked, right? There is hundreds of millions of hours of adult films on the internet and with women that are near perfect, and people are paying you because you're quirky or you dress up as an anime character. People are paying to see, not sometimes not even naked, just to hear you talk. Like, and you would think that would be like, as a guy, that would be like, there's nothing. Imagine how confident you would be as a guy if people paid to hear you talk or people paid to see you naked as a guy, right? There is some level of confidence that would bestow upon you as a guy. But for women, it just seems that no matter how much clout they get, no matter how famous they are or whatever, women get insecure, and that's a lesson, right? And one of the reasons they get insecure is that when women are attractive, they are not competing against unattractive women. You're competing against other attractive women, right? And those other attractive women are going for more attractive men, so they're all competing, right? It's like a different kind of like weight class in terms of boxing or something like that, where yeah, there women that are less attractive do enjoy um do sometimes get attractive men, right? But for the most part, it's like almost they know their place in the whole hierarchy, right? A lot of people online or just guys that talk about this dating stuff, they believe that the mid women, I say maybe the 4 through 6s, right? They believe that those women are at a point where they can get any guy they want. I'm like, you got to understand, first off, they can have sex with any guy, right? This is something ad nauseum we talked about. We talked about the red pill, but they don't get the commitment, right? And they have to face rejection constantly, just like we as men face rejection. The thing is, we face it more up front, right? For them, it's like in the back end, right? So she'll get with a guy who is maybe an attractive guy with options, and she will think for months that he's the guy. He's the guy for her, but then they get rejected and they get heartbroken because they thought they had she had exclusivity, and it turns out, or she gets tired of sharing him or whatever. But yeah, we talk about that in the red pill so much, it's almost tiring at this point. So no reason to beat that horse again. So yeah, so big lesson, guys. First is that women are insecure no matter how clouded or how much things they have behind them, right? And you can tell by the way, like, I'll make fun of a girl's like mole on her face, which isn't a big deal. Mole is a mole, guys. It's whatever. But then she'll say that I should die in a fire and get stabbed, whatever, some egregious way of pain and suffering and like eternal hellfire because I said she had a small mole, right? And the thing is, that shows you how fragile women are when it comes to their looks, right? And another lesson there, guys, is just that women are incredibly fragile when it comes to people attacking them, right? And they can't handle it. One way you can see is that women will get attacked, and they can't let it go. Like they'll go weeks holding, they'll screenshot what you sent them, what you tweeted at them, they'll show it. And then I've had this happen multiple times where I know exactly what each type of woman that online, what their thumb screw is, right? 48 laws of power, discover every man's thumb screw. And it's pretty easy. You just got to pay attention. And that's part of being able to roast women and then in real life be able to tease them, is to pay attention to what women are insecure about. All of them are insecure about their looks, but there's other things beyond that, right? So if you're going to make fun of like a trad wife, tell her that her life, her saying that she's trad and doing all these things doesn't mean anything, right? You call her a feminist, right? Because we all know, like, everyone's a feminist in 2024, whether you want to or not. And saying that you're not a feminist or that you are doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything, right? Because like we're all in this system of feminism, and there's really no reason to say one or the other. Like it's like saying I breathe air. I don't breathe air. Yes, you do. Like you're breathing it right now, right? It's that kind of like understood that we're all in this feminist machine and there's no way to get out of it, right? And that's okay. I mean, it is life. We're not here to change the universe. We're here to deal with what the universe gave us, right? So that's how you would roast a trad woman, is to call her out and be like, hey, you're not actually a traditional woman or conservative woman. This is why, right? And beyond looks, it kind of shows you, right, how fickle and how once the curtain is raised on the real lifestyle and all that stuff, how they act and how mad they get, right? Because more than calling her ugly, you called her out and made her look disingenuous. And women cannot, biologically speaking, if a woman is lying or full of shit, the tribe would be like, we don't want to take care of you anymore. You'd be demoted from being a girl that would be protected from the tribe to a girl that nobody cared about, probably used for sex, and that's it. Right. And guys, if you really think about how insecure women are about their looks, right? Like look at the makeup industry, look at the plastic surgery industry. Obviously men are getting plastic surgery too, but for the most part, you make fun of a guy's looks and he's like, yeah, that's who I am. And I make fun of myself all the time and my looks and all that. So yeah. For the most part too, if you look at it, you have to really step back, guys, and look at the whole picture of how women, and this is something that's always been around, like how women deal with this insecurity, right? It's not always, it's sad, right? Because um one of the things that will mess with you as a man, right? And this kind of mess with me too, right? Is that whether you'll be on a date with a girl or you'll be dating a girl casually, a girl that just wants to play house with you, right? Like I just described in the other videos, and you'll be sitting with her and she's having a good time. She's into you. You can almost feel like, yeah, we're going to go back to my place. Like the vibes are good, whatever you call it. And then you'll start talking. The conversation will get to like her kind of insecurities or, what she worries about, normal conversation. She starts talking about plastic surgery and how she wants bigger boobs, bigger ass, bigger lips, whatever, blah, blah. Right. And, in the moment, it doesn't seem like a big deal. You're just trying to get laid and have a good time and talk. But you realize, like, this girl is basically saying, whether she knows it or not, hey, I am trying to still get more attractive, even though I'm on a date with you. And if this goes well, we'd probably end up together. And that's where we're at right now with a lot of women, and that they're incredibly insecure, right? There is data to back up like that it's social media. Like for example, sadly, female teenage self deletion kind of spiked around with, I think, Facebook or the iPhone. I think that when the iPhone dropped, right? Because now women were not, instead of comparing themselves to the 2 or 3 women they know or the kind of women they know in college or whatever, they were comparing themselves to the whole world. Everything from the Kardashians to the local influencer who has a perfect life, right? And that made kind of girls a little crazy and insecure, right? So sadly, they do not have the tools, or at least a lot of them don't have the self awareness to understand the damage that social media does, right? And they'll fight to the death to be on social media, use it, and all that stuff. And but at the same time, guys, women crave this negative, this they want to be told they're not pretty. They want to be told they ain't the shit, they're not the most perfect thing in the world, and all that. They want to be told and made fun of, and there's a reason for that, right? And one of the reasons, the first reason would be, is that um women get exhausted from being put on pedestals all day, right? You may not think that because they kind of take betas and ruin them, right? You have anywhere from the girl next door will take a guy who's giving her attention and money and run him through the ringer, run him through the meat grinder and break him, right? Because simply he is was fighting to give away his time and money. Whereas on a bigger scale, you have chicks that sell their body, or not even their body. It could be that it could be like they like go. You know what? Go to Instagram, right? Like I said, look up your favorite thing. Like I have Shiba Inus, anime, gym stuff, shit posting, anything funny, right? Cultural stuff like Hispanic jokes and memes, food, all the stuff that I like, right? And in about 20, 30 minutes, you'll start seeing thirst traps, right? And um, it'll be anything to do with what you like, but a set of titties or ass, right? And it's like, okay, um, people are paying women, or they're getting clout, or they're getting paid money to do this stuff. Yet, um, like, why is it when I say, when Nuke online says, hey, you have a big forehead or mole or all that stuff, why is it why is it that it hurts them so much, right? Besides the whole insecure looks, but also, why do they keep coming back for more? Why do they keep kind of like making themselves the victim? Why do they keep coming into my threads, engaging with me? Why do they slide in my DMs and all that stuff, right? Um, and the truth is, guys, is that women need indignation because they are constantly pedestalized. One of the reasons is because they're constantly pedestalized, and they just can't. Um, it exhausts them, it wears them out, right? Women do like being pedestalized by betas, right? But the thing is, the whole world is like that, right? They everywhere they go, and sometimes, when I talk to my friends or anyone doing a consult or anything like that, and I tell them like why you have to be a certain way with women, I just tell them we cannot, as men, fathom the amount of attention and adoration that women get online and in general in life. We cannot fathom it, right? Imagine that since the moment you wake up, there's like three dudes wishing you a good morning, right? Your Tinder match is maxed out, 99 plus or 999 plus constantly, right? You are you every single app has some kind of mechanism where dudes are messaging you, right? If you decide to sell your body, you could have 100 subscribers, each sending you $5, and that's $500 a month, maybe minus taxes or whatever cut OnlyFans takes, right? And you can make a money on just like shaking your boobs like twice a week for 30 seconds, right? At whatever you have to make, and you don't have to be in shape or fit or beautiful. You could be fat because there's fat fetishes, whatever. And not only that, guys, like you walk out the door and maybe your next door neighbor looks at you a little longer, right? And then you go to the gym, and the guy at the counter of the gym or the gym trainers try to like offer you free training or to train you. And then you go to work, and then everybody at work is like, everything you do is amazing. Um, the boss is trying to get with you. The guy in the cubicle next to you is trying to get to you. Um, you know, you get awarded. There's a woman's like it just keeps going, guys. And then you go to lunch, and then you go to go order food, and the guy at the counter is looking at you and calls you princess or all that stuff, whatever. And you go back to work, same thing, and then you go home, and your ex is still messaging you. Like, it's so much positive attention of men trying to have sex with her constantly, and this is an average girl, right? And then they log on to Twitter or log on whatever, and some Dominican guy who is a red pill content creator comes in and tells her, "Hey, this, and that," right? And she hasn't felt this feeling in a long time. Maybe the last time is when her ex told her that she's mid or something, whatever insult, right? And she doesn't know what to do, right? Because at one point she's supposed to get mad. She's not supposed to like fold. She's supposed to tell me off, right? But there's something within her that's like, holy shit, what was that? I've never been treated like that before, right? And one of the reasons game exists, right, is because of all this. Because women are being told they're beautiful 24/7. There's always something to tell them. Hey, I'm I'm beautiful. You're perfect. You're wonderful. And if you even fall short of that, you're some kind of maniac or insecure or an incel or whatever, right? But the thing is, the difference with me, right? Because you can call a woman ugly, you can call a woman fat, right? You'll get likes, but when you zero in on an insecurity or an imperfection and you expose it to the world, right? That is what gets them going, right? Because when you call women these like overarching terms, overarching terms like fat or ugly or all that stuff, right? It lacks creativity, number one. And number two, it just makes like those are insults that like guys, lower status guys use on beautiful women, right? But when you tell women certain things and you're very creative, right? uh, they really feel the burn more because you took time and you're witty, right? It shows intelligence, wit, and it's funny. And that's ultimately the number one thing women fear is that when they're being made fun of, that everyone else kind of agrees and makes fun of them with them, right? That indignation, that feeling of being left out and all that because everyone else doesn't like you, right? Um, and yeah, guys, that's basically the concept behind why roasting hurts women so much and why they like indignation. And uh, they can't get enough, guys. They keep coming back. There's women that most women don't block me. They just you know, and women also this solves a big problem for women, and that is becoming a victim. Right? When you make fun of a woman, you become a victim or they become a victim, sorry. And when they become a victim, it gives them power, right? So that means all their little simps and all their little homies and all those little people, right? That constantly are like, yo, you're nuke, you're gay or you're homosexual because you don't uh pedestalize women and you make fun of them and you're saying that a woman isn't that attractive and that she's mid and all that. You must not get laid or whatever thing they say. What they're trying to tell you, right, is that they don't have the balls to do the same, and that they believe that women are wonderful and they can't do no wrong, right? So when they do wrong, um, you know, when some guy tells them that they're not perfect, right? They can't help it, right? So yeah, let me all right. Hi Nuke. Can you nuance this for me? My wife gets pretty angry when she infers I think she's not smart enough. When does this idea cross the line too much? Uh I'll answer it in a sec, dude. Give me a second. All right. So yeah, guys. When you go on to kind of red pill yourself and you kind of separate yourself from um kind of like the blue pill, you're becoming red pill, right? You see the world through a different lens. You're mad, you're in a rage phase. It's harder to see it like the way I see it, guys, because you're in your rage phase. You don't like women. You think you don't like women. You think they're out to get you. But in reality, you're just so frustrated and so disappointed in yourself because you fell for it. You can't believe that you were living in a way that is completely pro woman and anti you, the man, right? And you couldn't see it. You were mired in blue pill ideology and blue pill thinking, and now you're in red pill thinking, and you're just mad at yourself, right? So it's really hard to see things the way I see, where you know you may think, oh, he's doing it because he doesn't like women, or I'm like, dude, I'm doing it because that's what women need, right? When it comes to game, we don't care about what's right or what's wrong morality. We care about what works, right? So if you guys see the way I interact with these women online, and you see how a lot of them still interact with me even after I've said crazy things about them. They don't block me. They slide in my DMs sometimes. Other women slide in my DMs or like cheer me on, and all that. It's because we're tapping into a biological kind of reality about women, right? Where they see two different types of men, whereas there's the beta bucks and the alpha fucks, right? And the beta bucks are going to constantly forgive her and prop her up and pedestalize her, and then the alpha guys are just gonna be like, yeah. Now, do you need to make fun of women in real life? Absolutely not. But I'm gonna get to the reason why online this is so effective, and maybe in the real world there's not, um, and all that. But overall, as you date women, and as you see their online behavior, right? You have to really understand something, and that women's behavior changes depending on their environment. And that's something that guys take forever to discover, right? And that's why guys get always worked up with women's behavior online. And I guys, I really want you, I really, really want you, if you're gonna take anything away from my channel in general, this video or my channel in general, this is one of the most important things, is that women act differently depending on the goddamn environment, right? The same woman in a coffee shop or a bookstore will be an absolute sweetheart, but she'll be a huge bitch in the club. Same woman. The same woman that's walking her dog in the morning will smile at you and say good morning. That same woman, right, at online will say the most anti-man, anti-masculine, hateful thing that you can ever imagine, right? Same woman, right? Your next door neighbor, your female co-workers, your even female family members, ex-girlfriends, they can all like constantly denigrate men. But in real life, they hold doors open for us. They say thank you, sir, to men of status, like they're very kind to their customers if they work in the service industry. The men that they have sex with and date, they're shy and they're giggling and all that stuff. But then they go online and they act like like men aren't crap, right? And that's like that superficial pre-selection we talked about, guys. And also, that's it, guys. It's women act differently based on the environment. That, guys, is how you reach mastery, right? That's how I can look at these women and see them yap all day about how bad I am. Like, I don't know you. Okay, I'm a bad man. I'm bad because I'm a man, or I'm bad because I'm Dominican, or I'm bad because I'm red pill, or I'm bad because I'm brown, or whatever version of I'm bad, right? That I can't control. But I know women, I know those women go on dates and they have sex and they work with men, and they look up, there's men in their family that they love, and then there's, they have brothers and uncles, and they have customers, and they have people like that deep down, they can talk all this crap online, right? But in real life is real life, right? Same thing with the guys that are like say all these things about women. In real life, you have to work with women. You're going to have female bosses. It's just the reality of life, right? You're going to have women that reject you. You're going to have women that think you're the coolest thing ever, and will beg to give you a blowjob, right? That's life. That's life, because reality is not the internet. It's becoming more like the internet, but reality is still not the internet, right? Um, so why that's why we say, go touch grass and experience life with real women, and because ultimately, you're tired of getting duped and thinking that because a woman online is a certain way, women in the real world are not like that, right? Now, are there parallels? Yeah, of course. There's, obviously there's things that are undeniable, um, and all that, but um, that's the most important thing. That's why you can roast a woman online and tell her off, but online you can't really speak to her like that, right? So let's make that important distinction here, that if you're roasting a girl online, you really can't talk to her like that in person, right? Because those same women that seem so confident about denigrating you and telling you to f off and all that stuff, you go on a date with them and they're probably like giggling, and they're shy, and like you're so, and you may get up to go to the bathroom, and then she sees your bicep and she gets a little wet, or you spit some game and all that stuff, and you take her home and you have sex with her, and she's gonna be moaning she's gonna be moaning some dude's name, and tapping because she because she can't handle rough sex or something like that, or she's insecure about how she looks naked. Like these are normal human women, right? And to think for a second that you these women are somehow like above the human experience, above human pleasure, the normal pleasures of life, everything from wanting children to wanting to pet puppies to being attracted to men, right? Um, they're not, right? So one of the things that uh, also why women like getting roasted is that it brings them back to that state, that state of being humanized and being treated back like reality, right? Women don't want to be in charge. Women don't want to lead. Women don't want to be mean and nasty and bitchy. Women don't want to walk all over men, right? They want men to take control. Sometimes that control can be a little, mean, right? Um, women, men, uh, obviously have deferred to women. We're deferring women to positions of authority. Uh, we in relationships, we kind of let them lead a lot now. There's the placeholder boyfriend, which just exists to exist, and for better or for worse, there's internet memes like the green lines where it shows the man is in the female's physical frame and all that stuff, right? But for the most part, guys, like uh, once you start kind of de-pedestalizing women, right? And hating women and putting them and like making them this evil thing is also pedestalizing them, right? Once you start de-pedestalizing them, right? And you see them for these creatures, these insecure creatures that make dumb decisions. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. Most of them are neutral, normal people, right? Then you guys, your game will elevate so high, right? Because no woman is going to be special. Every woman is insecure, right? And here's the coolest thing: when you see more attractive women, you're going to see those are the most insecure. Those are the most insecure. They're not used to rejection. They're not used to guys calling them out on anything, especially their looks or minor imperfections. Those are the women that are the most insecure. And that's going to help your game, especially when you're wanting to approach or talk to women that are more attractive, is because you're going to see a woman that takes hours to get ready. You're going to see a woman that has been told she's pretty her whole life, even though the men, in her life aren't, committing to her or whatever. Right. And yeah, this is why it's so important to talk about these things, guys, because it helps your game. It helps you deal with women. And if you go on if you go on Instagram and you hit up these Instagram pages, right? Look up whatever you like. Eventually, it's going to get to a thought page or a simp page where the girl's shaking her tits and ass and pretending to make the video about the subject, right? And you see the comments, and it's just 100 comments about, wow, you're amazing, you're wifey, blah blah blah, and all that. And obviously those women are influencers, and they've kind of sold their soul to do that, right? But that's the average girl. We can't fathom how much positive attention they get online about how perfect they are, and it makes them. It doesn't make them happy, dude. It never makes them happy. It's just like what adult films are to men, where you can do it all day and it's never enough. You're always going to be chasing the dragon, right? That's the same thing with women. They're always going to be chasing the dragon in terms of attention, right? And they'll modify their body, and they'll destroy everyone in the process, and they'll destroy men just to get a little bit more attention and notoriety. They'll look stupid. They'll flash people through a giant glass or giant thing from Dublin to New York, right? Women are doing whatever they can to get more and more attention. And we're just like, like if I look at a pair of boobs or a girl having sex on the internet, I suddenly am causing the destruction of the West, right? But like women are flashing, uh, doing the thing with like the what do you call it? I don't even know what they call that circle thing from like New York to Dublin. Women are doing that, and no one's saying, hey, that's a psychological thing. Women are psychologically being damaged by social media. They shouldn't be on. This is bad. We should probably look into it. We don't want women to think that, or we don't want women to go out the deep end, right? But we have hordes of thought leaders and ideologies that try to make you looking at some girl twerking on Instagram, and or you looking at naked videos as some kind of like destructive habit. Could it become destructive? Of course, right? It's like chasing the dragon, it'll never be enough, right? But it's not the same magnitude, right? There is a modicum of shame, right? I don't think guys get together and talk about adult films or the very adult film actresses. They're embarrassed. It's embarrassing, right? There's an inherent shame. And the industry has been trying to eliminate that shame, trying to make adult films mainstream, trying to make adult films kind of like, hey, it's cool, it's normal, it's your needs, bro. And it's just like, still to this day, 2024, men are still ashamed, right? And this because while OF just keeps, the stock price for OF keeps rising, right? How many dudes do you know personally that subscribe to OF? It's like, where are these guys? I don't, no one has ever told me. So it's like there's an inherent shame. It could be my neighbor, it could be someone I know. There is an inherent shame to this stuff. So that's what regulates that the adult film stuff with men, right? Because there's shame still, and it's not imposed by society. It's inner male shame, and it's not like, I'm not saying if you do it, you should, like you're gonna feel like you're a piece of POS, right? But at a minimum, you're like, I did it, you know, it felt good, and I needed a release, but I should have hit up so and so girl. I should have gone on a date. I should have talked to women. Or I should have done something else, right? Or maybe I should go back into dating because this is not good. Like, it's not the best case scenario, right? That's majority of men. Most men aren't gonna be like, I'm a loser. They're just gonna like, and they're not gonna talk to anyone about it, right? Maybe not even a therapist. Probably wouldn't even talk to a therapist about it because it's embarrassing, right? But for women and the attention, which is like analogous to that, we don't care. It's like, it's not a big deal, right? It's not a big deal, and we're all paying the price for that. How we ignore this addiction that women have to attention, and while everyone's trying to pathologize men and their proclivity and their natural proclivity for endless opportunities of sex, which is that's what porn is to the brain. It's like showing you, hey, endless opportunities for sex, um, and all that. Uh, they're not pathologizing females' need for that, right? So what do we do now? What do we do with this, right? And then that's why I say, like, regardless of how much attention a woman gets or how clouded she is or how whatever, right? You have to get game is game, right? And when you're talking to women in general, right? Assume that you know she has an elevated ego because of social media, and the way to kind of bring her down to levels using game. And part of game is teasing, negging, you know, and that's going to be the most important thing when talking to women in this day and age sometimes is, besides being exciting because women are bored, is to assess how big her ego is, right? And there are ways to do that. Let me catch up on some of these chats. All right, I've learned that actually being indignant is a bad way to interact. Yeah. Ben and Cheesy, definitely one of those things that might take a bit of calibration. Took me a few tries for it to come natural because I was raised to believe that wasn't gentlemanly. Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, it's, you were feminized, dude, because being a gentleman does not mean taking shit from women or um or being gentleman to women you don't know, right? And that's the biggest distinction. Like, I'm a gentleman to my mom. I'm a gentleman to women that are in my frame on my program. I'm a gentleman to women that I work with. I'm a gentleman to women I interact with that are like familiar, right? Like, if I go to the store down the street, I know all the women that work there, right? And I am nice to them. If they need help moving a box, I'll be like, I got you, you know. But like, being a gentleman to women you don't know is doesn't make sense, right? They don't know you, they don't care about you, right? And you'll realize over time that once you unplug, right, you're gonna go through the other extreme where no woman is, you're going to be like, all women suck. They're not going to get an ounce of respect or attention or a dime out of me, right? But over time, you realize, okay, I got through my rage phase. I'm done being like this. Now I can start calibrating and be like, which women deserve certain things, right? And then you realize, no, it's not about deserving. It's about what makes sense and what's normal for a human being, right? Human beings, we don't care about people we don't know. And that is the biggest thing humans need to understand, especially in the online era, especially in the online in the era of elevating celebrities to almost as if they were family members of ours, even though we don't know them and they don't know us. Is that it does not make sense to be a gentleman or be nice or give things to women we don't know, right? That includes the first date. You're gonna buy a dinner for someone you don't know. That's insane, right? And there's so much risk to that. What if she's a catfish? You know, what if she smells bad? You know, what if she's a horrible person and not fun to be around? Right? What if she has a boyfriend? There's so many things, right? That's why you have to keep the date low investment and high fun because you don't know. You have no idea what this person is bringing into your life. So, same thing in life with being a gentleman, right? And being a nice guy is that I am totally fine with being a nice guy to the girls down the street that I work with, right? I walk in, they say hello, we have a conversation, they give my dog a treat. And that's a person I know I interact with very often, right? And those are nice girls. And hell, one time last year I matched with one of them on Facebook dating. And I'm like, crap, that's my favorite little convenience store. It's gonna get awkward. And then I just message her. I'm like, oh, my bad. I didn't know. I didn't pay attention. You know, she's like, oh, it's all good. And now, it's like normal. And I see her all the time, like twice, 3 times a week, right? But that makes sense, right? And a lot of the things I posted before on Twitter, a lot of people are like, wow, that's some sim shit, right? And I'm like, dude, there's nothing. Like, I posted, if my girlfriend was sick, I'd wash her panties for her, or her underwear, right? Something like that. And everyone's like piling on, or a couple people piled on. I was like, listen, dude, like, she's your girlfriend, right? She is your girlfriend. You love her and she loves you. So, and hopefully she's a good girlfriend and all that. I have no problem taking care of my girlfriend if she's sick and can't take care of herself. Like, that's what life's about, right? So if you ever get caught in that kind of like, one way to know you're still in the rage phase is that you feel no woman ever deserves anything nice, and you need to be mean and shitty with every woman. And I'm like, no, that's not true. You're a gentleman to women that you know, right? And like, if I'm hooking up with a girl and I have a great time with her and we're just at casual relationship and it's always good vibes and she does nice things for me, like if she calls me like, hey, I need my batteries dead, could you come jump it for me? I have no problem doing that. And I did do that, you know. But this woman from time to time would cook for me. This woman would make me coffee if I was in the area. We were hooking up, like she was a human being, right? Now be careful because that's how humans connect, and you don't want to get feelings for a girl that you're casual with, right? But just saying. So calibration is important. Michael Maxey, is indifference a word you're looking for, Nick? What do you mean? Jordan Price, it's okay, Nick. I make sure to leave one comment like you suck just so I can counterbalance her comment section. Gotcha. Digital portal. Yeah, that's what it's called. Attention is how women assess their SMV, real or perceived. Yep, exactly. Jordan Price. Also, Nuke, better batch your video on it, and turns out 90% of OF content buyers are married men. Not even the single guys are contributing too much as them. Yeah, I never looked into it, and I feel like, why I haven't looked into that kind of data stuff? It's because I just feel like it's never going to be honest. Like, there's so much, it's convoluted. Like, how do you know if a man's married that uses OF? Isn't it anonymous? Is this by like a survey? Would a married man admit to this? That's another thing with all these adult film statistics, right? Again, men have an innate shame to using this stuff and looking at it, right? Very few men are what do you call it? Are okay with being open with this stuff. Even me. Like, if I were using this stuff and someone came in, I'd exit out. I'd exit out really fast, right? Because it's embarrassing, right? And it's a very personal thing for men. And the thing is, like, even when girls say, "Hey, let's watch it together," I'm just like, oh, like because I'm afraid that they're trying to test me to see if I'm like the coomer that they think I am, right? And I've recently last year, like three or four girls have come forward, and like I posted the other day, one girl was like, "Hey, this is my favorite porn star. This is her. Here's her name, and this is why I like her." And I was kind of shocked, and I was like, "Is this a trap? Right? What the hell?" Like, and she would send me sometimes, like a couple, like a not like a couple hooking up and doing content together, right? And that's why I say, guys, be careful when you're like when you have the level of mastery where you're able to get a girl to open up sexually to you, right? And I'm not talking about in the bedroom. I'm talking about everything. Like she is 100% comfortable with you, and she's finally found a guy that's attractive and also doesn't judge her because the rest of the world judges her, right? Because you might find that women aren't the little angels that you thought they were, right? It might shock you, right? I go on Twitter every day, and almost every other week or every week, there's some kind of like anti-adult film usage kind of tweet, and you're a coomer, and I'm like, dude, you don't understand. If you think you're as a guy, we watch dirty stuff and all that stuff, right? But women, Jesus Christ, the things that they watch sometimes, and it's it's almost like women are repressed. They're incredibly repressed. We have never been more. Never has there been so many naked body parts online. Yet women have never been so sexually repressed. I feel like and once you discover and once you start acting like her being sexual and weird and kinky is the coolest thing ever, you'll be shocked of how fast they open up to you and how they use like adult films to show you what they want. Like, hey, check out this adult film. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, nice. And you start thinking like, is this a trap to see if she thinks I'm addicted to this stuff, or is this like she's really into it? And guys, she's into it. So yeah. Uh, the video is also fairly recent within the last few weeks. You got to check it out when you can. Okay. Godspeed, mate. It takes two to dance salsa. If one dancer is perfect and the other is bad, then the dance will be made. Yeah, that is true. Fairness between the sexes is game awareness frame test. Fairness is perceived as boring, and that the last thing men can do is bore women. Yeah, that is the biggest sin when it comes to dating is being boring, guys. Not being a gentleman or anything like that. It is being boring, and that is another reason why women enjoy being roasted, right? Because again, being pedestalized is incredibly boring, and it's puts so much expectations, right? Now let's flip that to being a guy, right? And I know it may be hard to fathom or to put yourself in this perspective. Remember how early I was saying every like women are constantly getting attention, validation, and put on pedestals throughout the day, like all day, since the minute they get up to the moment they go to sleep, right? And imagine that being you, where you're like women, men, everyone is constantly telling you you're awesome. That would get annoying. And like minutes, that would get annoying. Hours, right? By the time it's noon, you'd be like, you would be like, shut the hell up. Could you stop making me feel uncomfortable? Right? Have you guys been around? Have you guys gotten compliments and it made you feel like, yeah, dude, stop. That's very disingenuous. Like you'd rather get roasted. Like as guys, I feel more accepted when dudes are making fun of me. Right? I feel like more accepted within a group when people are making fun of me. Right? And now imagine that all the time people are just saying how great you are, how sexy you are, but you're like you're fat or chubby or you don't have abs, but people are like, "Wow, you're so hot. Oh my god." And you're just like, "Yo, like you know, like it's nice for a day or two, but after a while I'm like, "No, like I need to get into the gym or no, look at this nose. I'm not that attractive." But for the most part, you get tired, right? But in comes along this dude that looks at you and roasts you and says, "Damn, dude, like you got a nose that looks like a chili pepper or some funny shit, right?" And you're just like, you laugh and you're like, dude, I think I can trust this dude. You know, this dude isn't like brown nosing me or anything like that. I think I can trust this dude. And that's how women are, right? When you roast them and bring them down a notch, It's not that they feel trust, but they feel like you're not like the rest of the guys. And if you guys talk to women enough, you start realizing that being pedestalized, it's a burden for them, because they can't live up to the pedestalization, right? Part of being pedestalized is thinking that she's awesome, perfect, she has a great job, she's good work ethic, and she's a good wife and a good girlfriend, and she's angelic and all that stuff. But deep down, she's like, I'm a piece of shit. I am lazy and I like to get bent over and I like hardcore sex, and I'm a dirty girl. I'm a super dirty girl. But I have to be this because the public wants me to be that. I don't want to let them down, or my boyfriend, or my boss, or all these people have these expectations of her, and she's exhausted from all that. And here you are getting ready to free her from that by saying, letting her know that, hey, you're not that special to me and you're a whatever person, right? And you better be, I don't stop with this facade of you being a good girl. I know you're a dirty girl, right? And that frees them, right? And that was my video the other day, where it's like alphas or betas trap women and alphas free them. Betas pedestalize women and give them these expectations they can't live up to when we get miserable. Whereas alphas are just like, I don't care. Just show up and let's hook up, and that's why guys, like, the payoff is like, why would you want to be beta? Why would you want to? The payoff is so little as compared to being the alpha side, right? Obviously you can't be 100% alpha, but you don't want to be 100% beta either. You want to be 80% alpha, 20% beta within you. So if once you get that, once you come over to the side to to being an alpha, 80% alpha, 20% beta, life changes in your relationship with women changes, right? First off, you find an inner peace knowing that you yourself don't have to pedestalize women, that you can go online and tell them off and they'll still like you. They'll still think, like, I hate you, but I respect you. And there's a difference there. And you realize from as a guy that you prefer respect over love, right? And there are women that I've dated that didn't love me at all, will never love me, right? But the fact that they showed up on time, the fact that they asked me what to wear, right? The fact that um, you know, they would listen to me and follow my lead, right? That is respect, and that is better than love, right? That is so much better than love. I'm telling you. So yeah. All right, we got two super chats I want to get to. We have Jamal Load with the 4.99. Let's give you one of these, sir. Thank you so much, best friend. Jamal Load with the 4.99. What are the key pillars of game again? Like Amuse Mastery, having recent success, but want to be cognizant going forward. I would say look at the the Commandments of Poon by Chateau Artiste. Look that up on Google. I can't name them off the top of my head, but that is like your best kind of the pillars of game, right? I think it's the 13 Commandments of Poon by Chateau Artiste. That will guide you, and if you follow that, you'll do fine with women. You won't have an issue. So, great question, by the way. Thank you. So we have a $10 super chat. You get one of these. Thank you so much, best friend. Yep, Yamine with a $10 super chat. Can you explain what it means to manufacture drama, and does that tie into not being boring with your girl? Of course, yes, it does. So manufacturing drama is a thing. It's like sort of like lighting the forest fire before the forest fire happens, right? So women, as you know, they need drama, which is, again, it ties into today's topic. So excellent question. Thank you. Women need drama, right? Again, they're bored. All men tell them they're amazing. Their father, maybe their father kind of, but all men tell them they're amazing and they can do no wrong, right? And they get bored. And within a relationship, women also get bored, right? You'll need to manufacture drama. And why do I say manufacture, right? Because if you don't make drama for women, they're going to make it themselves, right? And what would you prefer, a controlled fire or a wildfire that takes days to put out, right? So we prefer the controlled fire. And the way to manufacture drama, you have to use your creativity, right? One way to manufacture drama is, you could text her in the morning on the way to work and be like, hey, I hate you. right? And just ignore her for the rest of the day. Let her mind wander. She's gonna be mad. She's gonna be like, "Don't talk to me like that. Who do you think?" And then you're gonna, you just put your phone on silent and work all day. Just and you're gonna come back, and she's gonna be like, "Hey," she's gonna be like not understanding, but she got that kind of like drama, and you guys can maybe have a little faux like kayfabe, like an argument that you're kind of both in on, and then you have sex and you move on, right? That's how you manufacture drama. Now, is there like a rule book or like a way? No, but that's why I use game and also kind of calibration to their girls level, right? Because there's some girls that hey, I dated girls casually where if I couldn't introduce drama at all because it pissed them off or make them give them anxiety, right? They just wanted to have sex and they were just happy that I look the way I look and let's go. But there are women that get bored, right? And you have to be like, you know, you have to like manufacture something, some kind of like drama for them to stay with you, right? Because they get bored. And one of the ways you can manufacture drama, again, is sometimes not answering her text for a while, right? Or um, I would say, yeah, like stuff like that, like shooting a text, or like and it all depends on the level on your girl, right? You have to know your girl first to understand. Like, there's some women that they are amazing in bed and good cooks and all these things, right? But um, on the other side of that, they need that spike in emotions from time to time. They get bored, and there are women that don't need it, barely need anything. Like it's like once every two, like at once a month, once every 3 months, they need one fight, and they'll be in love with you, right? It all depends on the woman. So you have to like calibrate to your women that you're with, and then once you kind of figure out where she's at, and you how comfortable are you with manufacturing drama, right? Are you going through a stressful time in your life, and you really don't have the time for games or anything like that, or maybe you're naturally charming, which is the best case scenario, where you just say things that'll piss her off and tease her, right? You don't always need to do something mean like saying, "Hey, I hate you," and then going to work and ignoring her text, right? You can say um you can say other things, right? Like one of my favorites is, "Hey, I haven't been liking your attitude lately." Even though everything's nice and fine in the relationship, right? And she's like, "What?" But like, over text or in person. Um and she'd be like, what do you mean? And she'll see that as, you're an unpredictable man, and that's exciting, right? So I think the most important thing in terms of manufacturing would be, um as a guy, would be unpredictability, and then something that would spike her emotion. It doesn't have to be negative, right? It can be also positive. A lot of times, taking if your girl's been a good girl to you, and you feel like she deserves it, it's coming from your heart, be like, "Hey, I got you a trip. Let's go to Mexico." Or blindfold her and take her to the airport and say, "Hey, we're going to Mexico, me and you," and all that stuff. Now that may be a little, doing too much, right? But things like that keep her excited, and that unpredictability of being with a man, or that feeling of unpredictability gets her excited, right? So yeah. So great question. Thank you. All right, we got a 499, Brendan Tracy. Sir, you get one of these.
Thank you so much, best friend.
Brendan Tracy with a 499. Thank you. Hey, great shows, Nuke. Lately, getting heavy crap from family for dating a 20-year-old. I'm 27. Did you deal with this too? Do I even bother defending myself? Dude, it's your life, man. Again, you know, you have one life to live. Why do you have to check in with people that I know you? And then it's harder, right? It's easy for me to say that but this is your family, and I'm going to assume that you love them, right? And they love you. But understand that you're never gonna make your family completely happy, right? You're not there to make you don't exist to make your family happy and come and content, or anyone. You exist to make yourself happy, up to a reasonable, standard. But you're not there to make anyone happy. So you need to figure out why this is even a question, because I feel like you have to have more frame than that, than to be like, "Oh, my family doesn't like," I'm like, my family doesn't like a lot of things that I do, and they can go after themselves. I still love them, but at the same time, I'm not I'm me. Like I'm not gonna change for them. Like sorry, you know. So yeah. But great question, man. Appreciate it. All right, let's see. All right, let me catch up. Any other people in the chat? Your face is indignation. Yeah, yeah. We got Jack in the chat, everyone. Great stream. Thank you. 16. Oh, 16 commandments of Puna. For some reason, I thought it was a 13 uh rules of. Yeah, I thought it was 13, but 16. Yeah, that'll help you guys for understanding kind of the rules of the game, which is more than enough, right? Because from there you calibrate to your local culture, your country, the age group or what type of women you want. Like, right? I made a video on how to speak to Latinas versus how to speak to Asian women and all that. And that's because there's certain kind of calibration, right? It's not much different, but there are things you can't say to Asian women, just like there's ways to talk to Latina women, right? And like for example, you don't one of the biggest things Asian women are afraid of is that you have a fetish for them. They don't like that. It's creepy to them, right? So one of the things that I do, and I've learned how to flip it so well. One of the things I do, and I tell Asian women that I date, is that they always ask like, is that what you like? Are you into Asian women? And then you say, hey, yeah, my last couple girlfriends, or less. I usually date Asians, my preference, right? And my last couple girlfriends were Asian. Um, and all that. And they kind of build like they start trusting you more that it's more of a you like her for her and not because she's Asian, right? Because Asian women are fetishized a lot and they don't like it. So yeah, just uh you know uh this is what we're here for, guys. Trade notes and all that stuff. So uh my Jack Napier says my favorite manufacturer I would tell her to stop doing that while she's doing nothing and what her be confused while you double down on that thing she's doing. Yeah, being playful. Yeah, and some girls you have to be incredibly playful because they just. But there's some girls that you have to like you have to really uh up it, right? And maybe it could get exhausting. That's when hey, I can't beat this woman. It's too much. And then there's some women that like just one argument every 3 months is enough. Those are the women that usually get married very early because most men don't have a lot of game. So women that don't need to be gamed a lot, those are the ones usually getting married early and all that stuff. Women that require more game, probably around 27, they get married, and then women that suck and aren't fun to be around and are kind of have very high body counts probably never get married or probably married in their 40s or whatever. So anyway, yes, new comments. Let's see. Oh, 13. Yeah, 13 is Puck. No, wait. 13. Wait, it's 15? Hmm. Yeah, so many different numbers. Is it Rolo? How many is Rolo? 13. Or is it 11? I forgot, I haven't read this stuff for a while, guys. Can I slap her sandwich out of her hand to manufacture drama? I don't know. That seems a little mean, but maybe it will work on the women. One way you guys can learn how to manufacture drama, right? Besides roasting online, is go on Instagram and a lot of like the couple pranks. That's a good that you can take notes like all the couple pranks. Uh, like for example, one way to manufacture drama or to tease your women is to take bad pictures of her and then either post them online, but not like to strangers, like maybe for Facebook, or take bad pictures of her and put them on your screensaver on your phone, right? Maybe like picture from a very unflattering angle, or take a picture of her while she's sleeping, or like with her mouth all open and send it to her during the days. Like, wow, look how beautiful you look, right? That is like kind of that teasing, and it's really easy, guys. You just take out your phone and you take a picture, and it's her doing some silly thing or looking dumb. Obviously, don't share with the internet, guys. Like, that's crazy. But share it with her on, like, send it to her maybe midday and be like, "Wow, look, I can't believe I'm with this beautiful angel," right, or something like that. And she's gonna be like, wow, she's gonna get mad at you, but it's what makes her it's what makes the relationship fun, right? You can do that forever. So yeah. Yeah, so Rolo has nine iron rolls of Tomasi. Puck is 15 lessons, and Troy is 7 laws of seduction, and Chateau Artis is 16 commandments of Poon, and Nuke is 100 100 lessons I learned from dating. So I kind of went full spurg and full autism when I made my thread and made 100. And I could have kept going, guys, but I'm just like, you know what? Let's stop it here. This is getting a little much. I think people get the point. I manifest my inner South Park Steve Irwin. What do you mean? Every unannounced photo of a woman is an absolute banger for comedy. Yep. I might tweet that, Jack. Thanks. It really is it's the easiest manufactured drama. You know what? I'll do a whole show on manufactured drama. But this roasting stuff is manufactured drama, right? Because now you've introduced a mean, evil guy that's here to roast them and teach them and make them feel bad. And we had a rally. I got to get my simp troops and I got to get the internet on my side because this mean guy and the guy keeps laughing in my face. And then at the end of that, anxiety and like that spike in negative emotion is attraction. Believe it or not, guys. Me making fun of these women, they can't get enough, right? There's women that are still, no matter how much I make fun of them, they still line up in my comments to say negative things around me. They will slide in my DMs from time to time. Other women that want to get roasted the same also show up in my mentions, and it's like, why? And that's one of the reasons also is that number one, they're bored out of their minds. The whole world pedestalizes them. Number two, they get a chance to be a victim, which gives them power. And number three, it's just fun. It's just more fun than going on dates with guys that ask them their favorite color, or working with men that let them do whatever they want, or dating or having a boyfriend or a husband, which is a pushover, right? You have a guy that tells her off, right? Because that's very rare, a guy telling them that they suck. The sad thing is about this, guys, is that manufactured drama, roasting women, teasing women, whatever level, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. It's easy. Like I was just talking about, an unflattering photo that you send her during the day that you took of her while she was sleeping. That's enough to make her to lower her down a peg, right? But if a celebrity is like Tom Brady or the Brazilian football player Kaká and other celebrities were to do that maybe once a week, their wives would still be married to them, right? Isn't that sad? Like these men that have it all, living every boy's dream of being famous athlete, famous actor, famous whatever, and simply if they would have just told their wife they're mid, your wife is mid, or hey, I don't like, let's fight or something, or manufacture some kind of drama, they would have still been married, and that's all they had to do. And a lot of men are losing hope because they're like, oh, if Tom Brady can't keep Giselle, and if Michael B. Jordan can't keep Lori Harvey, and if so and so celebrity can't keep so and so, it's all over for me. And I'm like, no, dude, it's not all over. It is simply that the game is the game, and women are women, and the faster you accept that, the easier women will be. Right, and that takes calibration, obviously, but don't lose hope. You know something that they don't. They know Tom Brady knows how to throw a football near perfectly, but he doesn't know how to talk to his woman, and you do. So because you know something he doesn't, it means that in terms of relationships, you're gonna do better than he will, right? Money and fame can only take you so far. Women get bored of everything. Women get bored of money. Women get bored of fame. Women get bored of everything. The only thing that keeps them going is this little drama that you create, right? And then the interesting thing is if you create this drama and it's still not enough and it's starting to affect your own life, right, which is more important than the relationship, then you can be like, hey, this girl is a little bit too much. I'm done, right? She can be someone else's problem. So, yeah. Me and my girl agree that I can tell you guys so long as she never knows about it. Tell you what? What did I miss? Credit me in the tweet and go for it. I don't know who you are, sir. Who the hell are you? Man, age reference. I'm old. Kaká didn't swap enough notes. Yeah, he was just a nice guy. He was just perfect. You know, the girl. And if he would have just another way you can tease your woman is when you're walking with her, push her into stuff. That's what I do. That's one of the things I tease women with. That's my manufactured drama. Like I'll be walking, and then what I'll do is me and the girl will be walking straight, and I'll slowly start like pushing her, but like she won't notice, right? And I'll start pushing her towards like a trash can or a pole or a bush, and she won't notice it until it's like almost too late. She'll try to dodge it, and I'm already blocking her, so she almost hits the. Obviously, I don't, um, she doesn't almost, she doesn't hit the object, right? But then I turn around and start yelling, not yelling, but I raise my voice and I'm like, hey, can you please pay attention? I can't be watching out for you all the time, right? In that same tone that you just heard, and they just can't get enough of that, right? The number one thing you can do for women is that, guys, is roasting them, teasing them, bringing them down. That frees them from the shackles of being worshipped. They hate being worshipped deep down. They don't think it's right. That's why a lot of women sabotage relationships because they're like, why is this guy treating me this good? I don't deserve. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a dirty girl. I'm not a traditional wife. I'm not a good. I'm not a good girl. I'm a dirty slut. I've always been like that. And I love being like that. Now I want to do it for the right guy, ideally, but this guy's like, I feel like I can only have missionary sex with him because he's gonna think I'm some kind of slut and throw me on the street, and she's miserable, right? Instead, you could be the guy that pushes her into bushes, and she's gonna say you're an asshole, right? And you could be the guy that says, "Hey, I'm not like those little boys that you date. You can, we can do whatever you want in the bedroom. I'm just as dirty as you," or something like that. And you realize over time, there's something that women cannot get enough about those type of men that do that. They're addicted. So when you guys see my threads and you see the same girl that says some nasty shit to me, but she every week she shows up getting angry and saying something to get provoked. There's a reason for that. It's because the rarest thing in the world is not men with money and power, right? Although they're rare. It's men that are attractive, physically attractive, in different ways, but also can keep her interested and excited. That's the rarest part, right? So when you guys see these divorces with billionaires, millionaires, CEOs, athletes, whatever, high level people, you're wondering, wow, he had so much money and fame. How did that happen? It's this: he didn't push her into a pole or a bush, almost, right? Don't actually do that. He didn't text her in the morning, say, hey, I don't like your attitude today, even though she's doing nothing wrong. Or like Jack said, stop doing that thing. Or she didn't roast her. He didn't wake up one day and said, hey, I think your left titty is my favorite because it's slightly bigger or something like that. It was just one of my favorite things. Right. They didn't do those things, but now you know this, right? Now you can have more rewarding relationships than them. You probably won't make the Football Hall of Fame or probably be an award-winning actor, right? But you can at least have the relationships that they dream of with women just as hot, or at least one level lower, and be happy. And they could attack me all they want. They could say I'm a horrible person because I tell women off and all that stuff. But deep down, guys, it's a service. You're doing the nicest thing for women possible, and that's humanizing them. And they can't get enough. They'll be addicted to you. So use this lessons to deal with the women in your life and watch you get more control, right? Because rule 0, that's what we want. We want more power in the sexual marketplace, more options, positive identity. You're going to realize that this indignation that women need, that they're like constantly searching for online, right? And that's a lot of reasons why they had these dumb takes where it's just like, come on, I need men telling me off, right? That's going to give you more power in relationships, whether it be casual, girlfriend, wife, spinning plates, whatever, because you've given women the thing that they need from this whole dating thing, and that's indignation and fun. They already got the beta stuff, right? Men are fighting dedicating their whole lives to make sure women are 1% more comfortable. And I'm fighting to make women's life 1% less comfortable. And just look at the results. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for today. I got to get to work. Hopefully you guys liked the show. You took away something from that and all that. Being nice to women is evil. It's horrible. You know, like they can't stand it. They'll take it. They'll take your money. They'll take your attention. But deep down, that just makes them miserable, right? Give them the gift that never stops giving. Give her the alpha that she wants. Give her the guy that tells her that one titty is bigger than the other. Give her the guy that insults her playfully. Manufacture that drama, or else, yeah. You know our secrets. Yeah. It's once you get over your ego, guys, with women, and you start learning, kind of like get past your ego, what should be like. Women should be like this, should be like that, right? Instead, think, like apart from my little male ego that I have, why are they like this? Why is it that this person is successful? Why is it that she responds to this? Why is it that I tell women that she has a big forehead in a creative way, yet she's in my threads every week telling me to F you or you're ugly? Why? Pay attention and just think, just stop with the should shit where men should or women should. What is going on? Because once you get past that point of what should be, right? And you start looking at what is, and what does that have to do with me, and how can I use this in my favor or not in my favor, then use mastery, and then you'll have fun, and you'll start actually enjoying women for what they are, not what everyone says they should be. So, exactly. Random laughing at a girl you don't know sometimes works. Does this make me look fat? No, not more than usual. Yeah, I watch the answer go. Military service alone gives you unlimited ammo for manufacturing indignation. Army guys are toxic and playing up mystery. Maybe I'm James Bond. Yeah. Military guys were naturals at it because we had to use it to survive, or else we'd go crazy. So good luck at work, man. Pretty cool. I can catch you live now. Yeah. I might even do it at 10 p.m. But I don't know. It's been a crazy week for me, and I'm just it's not the greatest week for me to plan the future right now. I got to finish this project tonight. So wish me luck, guys. Great topic. Absolutely going to be in the replay since games I got here. Hey, man, appreciate it. Leave a comment. Brendan Tracy, most are plugged in. Brutal simping, you're not wrong. Dev KD, hey, Nuke, 9 p.m. 60 works well for my time zone. Hey, man, if it works well, then I'll continue doing it. All right, guys, I appreciate all the super chats, and I appreciate your money. This money will go probably to improving the stream. Yeah, I've been looking for ways to improve the stream. I think my lighting's good, mic is good. I got a new laptop. My dad gave me a new laptop for my birthday. I got weird stuff in the background and all that. Also, guys, if you guys want me to interview anyone, let me know. I'm trying to look up people to interview. I'm trying to build this channel now a little more seriously. If I'm going to do this, might as well do it seriously and all that. And I don't really want to debate anyone because I destroy them. So don't invite anyone to debate me because I don't want to bury any dead bodies or anything like that. But guys, you guys know where to follow me on all platforms. If you want to consult, hit me up on Twitter or IG, and Patreon, $5 a month and all that. And yeah, guys, thank you. And you guys have a good night.